Welcome to Colney Talk Podcast.
Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome to another exciting episode of Colney Talk Podcast, your bite-sized breakdown show. I'm your host, Alex. First-time listeners, glad to have you here. And to my returning guests, thank you for sticking with me. As always, I talk a bit about the Arsenal match and pick out my top 3 Arsenal players who shined and one odd player not good enough I get to call out. What a night for us to finally secure our place in the final rounds of 16. Arsenal were able to secure with the 2-1 victory against Girona. This win cements everything that we've tried to accomplish going into this competition. Finishing up with 19 points, that is not bad at all. So let's just get right into it. Opening 15 minutes, I thought Arsenal might have scored a couple of goals given the way we were storming down the wings. We pressed Girona up high in the pitch as usual. Jorginho was in the middle in this game running things. I thought he was impressive enough to dictate our attacking directions, even though he had to be cautious of his vulnerabilities and the times when he'll be lacking in terms of pace and when he'll be struggling to find cover. Thankfully, that didn't really happen as much until much later in the game. We pinned Girona back in their own half, but we didn't have anyone threatening from that number 9 role. The official stats, as I remember, revealed a staggering 43% of our play happening in Girona's defensive third during that opening 25 minutes of the game. And that highlights Arsenal's territorial dominance to do something, to manufacture that scoring goal and chances that we all love and appreciate. What it doesn't show is how little we try to get closer to get those scoring chances. We didn't do those whipping crosses because that was not going to work for us, seeing that we didn't have Havertz as the main man that would be the center of focus to respond to those crosses in, because most of the other players were not equipped to do that. So we had to find other means, and that's fine. Calafiori came in as another option, doing great things. He looked sharp going forward. I thought he synced up well with Sterling. The offside goal by him, that was promising. That gave me the appetite to expect more of similar plays, similar combinations between himself, Sterling, and Trossard coming in on that left wing to cause problems for Girona. And we showed a lot of that drive, waiting for that first goal to take off the pressure and allow them to play light feet and do more work against this home team. But very quickly, the game was raring to get away from us. Danjuma for Girona capitalized on the defensive lapse, catching Neto out of position, and they took the lead, and that looked to have rattled Arsenal's defense a little bit more than I would have liked, because they had a couple more breakaway chances that would have left us trying to crawl back from a bigger goal deficit. Thankfully, we were only 1 goal down. Now, despite conceding first, there were plenty of positives to take away from the opening half. Our pressing game was relentless, check. We were pinning Girona back in their own half for long stretches of the game, which was the positives on where we were going to convert something. Girona looked like they could not cope with the press that we had applied, which seemed like they were just about to break. It was forcing them into somewhat of a low block formation as I saw it, and they just couldn't break away or get into their own game. So these were things that looked to favor how we wanted to attack them and deal with the unrelentless pressure that we are giving them. But we hadn't just scored yet, so that was just the only thing left. But luckily, we got a break. We were awarded a penalty. There was never any doubt when I saw who stepped up to take that. Jorginho's cool display, dispatched a clinical finish from the spot, and that was the reinstating confidence we needed to bring our game to this team, and we did. Like I said, everything from the positives was going our way, only waiting for those goals and the chances to come. We got that from the penalty, so we had to do a lot more to get going. And sure enough, it did. The real star of the show, Ethan Nwaneri, he just wowed me. I mean, This 17-year-old looked completely at home on the big stage, and his goal was nothing short of sensational. You look at it and squint and you think that was Saka scoring that goal, but take nothing away from this guy. He was phenomenal. I mean, the way he picked up the ball on the edge of the area, created space for himself, drove and unleashed an unstoppable curling shot. That was a moment of pure magic. I mean, that's another reminder of how incredible this young boy and his talent is. It's amazing. His strike not only put Arsenal ahead of this game, but also etched his name in history books as the second youngest English goal scorer in Champions League history. Could you imagine? I mean, out of nowhere, now we're adding these young players in the history books. Kudos to him, and he well deserved. And we had a little bit of unlucky situation. Trossard was just short. Seeing his shot hit the top bar, he would have gotten that good chance, making it a third goal, but it was missed. He had a number of good moments in the first half as well. Now, the not so good part of the first half. Same old problems, struggling to ride the clear-cut chances in the final third where we create and get those situations, find ourselves in the dangerous areas to convert. Our decision-making in key areas was somewhat often going astray, and when Sterling had the ball, it looked like he was just about to unlock something. That started to reduce the successful drives towards the shot attempts. Things were no longer like clicking as it would, and it would break somewhat. So kept turning more into a challenge. I mean, the goal we conceded was particularly disappointing as well, because Neto will want to forget this moment. He was cut out of position, allowing Danjuma to capitalize and give Girona that shocking lead. But I would also say Partey should have defended better, especially as the pass just went by him. I mean, talk about a defensive lapse that seemed to not have been anticipated. Maybe the few other players that were involved are not in position to allow that happen. While the first half saw us gain the lead, I think one major thing played a part for us, and that's luck. We were lucky to not have conceded more than one goal, and we were lucky that the penalty gave us a way back in the game rather than finding stretches of crawling to get back in the game. I'm sure we probably would have done that, but this, from a lucky standpoint, we got right back in early and then got the lead. So, that was going for us. As the team headed into the tunnel, Arsenal had turned a potential disaster into room for victory, and how we could hold on our lead and at least try to extend it, because everything was pointing to those opportunities and the players and the way that it had looked from the first half. And we had the resilience to continue pushing it, and that was what I was looking forward to in the second half. Start the second half, it looked more promising. Ethan Nwaneri, yet again, building on his first half spark, continued to be a thorn in Girona's side. He managed to unleash another powerful shot from the edge of the area that skidded just wide, just slightly wide. I mean, you could hear everyone just go, ooh, when it went past. Not only was encouraging, but it just showcased his confidence and ability to threaten those shots from distance. We didn't have a lot of those. Yes, a few of them were blocked, but that direct response was something that it didn't take him that much to unleash. But a few other players, a few dribbles and combination plays before they would do that just felt a little bit more different from what Ethan Nwaneri was doing. And I would have liked Sterling and Trossard to do more of that. Our set piece was not going to be left behind. It was particularly noteworthy as well. Big Gabby and Timber came extremely close to extending our lead from corners. Defensively, we showed better composure and organization. A number of Girona's counterattacks were disrupted, and that was one thing that Big Gabby and Jorginho had to ensure that didn't happen. This allowed us to slow down pressure, but we didn't contain it as much as we would have liked, although we were efficient when we did those. The challenges extended our inability to find that crucial third goal, which left the door open for Girona, and they took it and they made us pay. But thankfully, that turned out to be a disallowed goal from an offside for Stuani, and it was a wake-up call. At least I expected that to be a wake-up call for the players. And there's another sign of luck playing its part for us. As we were getting to the final minutes, Raheem Sterling's missed penalty as well. This is just a combination of all the challenges that we were seeing in the second half in the stoppage time. It was just another disappointing moment for me, because while it didn't cost us in the game, these are the kinds of chances we simply should have taken when we knew it would add something further for this competition, for this player, and how much they had prepared for the game. I mean, Sterling's spot kick attempt, to me, go back and watch it, it seemed like it lacked confidence. So clear to see. That is utterly disappointing. Our use of possession as a defensive tool was great. It kept the ball away from Girona, and conserving energy was a smart gameplay for us and how we wanted to, use that to our leverage, which we did well enough. But again, there was more that we would have loved to have been done differently. Although I would have liked the introduction of the fresh legs to come in a bit earlier to prevent Girona from building any sustained pressure and causing us a bit more fits that we would have liked. Now, as we've wrapped up the group stage, there is so much to be proud of. Finishing third in a tough group with 19 points, it's a big deal. We've shown that we can compete with the best in Europe coming from behind to win away from home, something that will serve us well in the knockout stages. I mean, remember, we don't have a full squad, healthy squad, and this is how much we have shown so far, competing with the others. So that is a lot to commend the players and the team. However, as we look ahead to the round of 16, there are areas that we need to improve our game management, at least for me, where when we're leading, needs more work or more corrections, more adjustments. We can't afford to let teams back into matches at this level. I will not repeat the issues of goal efficiency. I think that has been said well enough. Hopefully we find some reinforcements there. Regardless of who we face in the next round, this Arsenal team has shown great results with the least that they've had, not making excuses, and have gone this further in the competition. So as their experience, they're great. The mentality, the togetherness of the team is a huge credit to them and something worth highlighting. Now, let me focus on my top three players in this game. First player, Calafiori. He was excellent in providing width and penetration on the left flank. His occasional drives forward was inviting for the other front players to connect and run with the ball. He managed to deliver several dangerous crosses, one of which nearly resulted in an own goal in the second half. He was also good with his defensive duels, making crucial interceptions, showing great positional awareness. I liked his performance. I thought, Sterling would take advantage of that light feet that Calafiori brought, and he was giving him enough of that combination. So it was quite encouraging. Second player, Jorginho. He managed to control the tempo of the game from the middle, dictating the play with his presence, precise passing, and intelligent positioning. That's the best of Jorginho that we know him for. He was excellent in set-piece delivery, creating chances from corners and free kicks. He was good when he did the dirty work, breaking up those counterattacks and recycling possession efficiently. And to top it all off, his penalty was just clinically taken. I wish he was there to take the second one, but I didn't expect him to stay all past 90 in this game. Either way, he helped us go forward in this game. Third and final player, Ethan Nwaneri. He managed to score a goal of the highest quality. That also gave us the lead in the match. Excellent on the ball, evading press and dispossession, constantly finding pockets of space between Girona's lines. And this worth highlighting. When he was in tight corners and felt like a trap, he was able to wiggle his way out and still maintain the game flow, and that's amazing. I mean, it's not easy to have that for attacking players. You could be good running with the ball, driving, dribbling, but finding your way out of tight situations and still keeping the flow of the game is next level. And I think he's even finding comfort to do that. That's a lot, and kudos to him. Creating those spaces to allow his teammates come in to keep the ball going, or at least resetting for different situational awareness of how they wanted to implement the drive forward. That really shows the advanced knowledge and awareness that you wouldn't expect from a 17-year-old. Age is not necessarily supposed to be the qualifier, but that experience and instinct is special, which makes him a great talent. And I love that from his game, which is really special. Not a lot of players you can think of this young and with limited experience at this stage is something that you can, compare to. Now, as far as my old players, while many of the players in this game performed okay, well enough, I have to express some real displeasure and disappointment with Raheem Sterling. Despite his undoubted quality, Sterling seemed to be operating at a gear below his usual level, or at least a level that I expected him to be above in this game. He had the pace, he showed signs and flashes in the first half, but he didn't assert himself as much. As a result, failing to consistently unsettle Girona's backline with his movement, he did a number of that, and it was calling for more. That next turn was what was missing. I mean, the missed penalty as well in the stoppage time. The missed penalty in the stoppage time was symptomatic of a night where things just didn't quite click for him yet again. It's not been clicking. I wish it did. These are the kinds of games where we needed his experience and players like him to step up. And unfortunately, Sterling fell short of the high standards that we should have seen from him in this game. And I thought this would be somewhat easier for him without much of a pressure, but it just didn't happen. Looking ahead, now that we've wrapped the group stage, there's much to be proud of. Finishing third in a tough group with 19 points is no small feat. We've shown that we can do great with the shortage and handicap that we've suffered. And now there's a lot for us to look forward to. So we're going to have to reset, recover, and get ready for this tougher stage. I mean, looking ahead, game management, when we're leading, needs a little bit of refinement. We can't afford any slip-ups, and there's going to be a lot more proactive thoughts in how we're going to, work going forward. But that's to be hoped for. Regardless of who we face in the next round, this team is ready and the quality to compete. So there's more of, looking forward there. As we await the draw, one thing is clear. Arsenal should expect the worst in terms of the next sets of opponents, and I'm sure we will be raring for that. It's a big challenge, but I'm sure the boys are looking forward to it. That will do it for this episode. Thank you all for tuning in. Remember, subscribe and share with your fellow gunners. Until then, take care.